Yes guys, welcome to another video. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about, and it's another gaming video, and kind of talk about the future of gaming, because I think the future of gaming at the moment is fascinating. There's a lot going on. I think the companies, Sony and Xbox and Nintendo to a lesser extent, but we've seen what Nintendo do, but I think they're just doing some interesting things, and they're kind of signaling to us pretty clearly, if you read between the lines, what the direction of the gaming industry is going in. And especially if you also think about where the money is, as in, when I talk about where the money is, Apple make so much money from gaming, I had no idea. Like, mobile gaming is just like absolutely huge, and the way Apple make money from gaming is just, it's a lot of money, and it's using infrastructure that they never designed specifically for gaming. So you can imagine, if you're Xbox and Sony, that will piss you off, and you'll probably look at your own business model. You're not necessarily gonna come for Apple's business. I mean, you are gonna come for Apple's business, but firstly you're gonna look at your own business and think about why the hell you're doing things this way when one of your competitors is making tons of money without the expenses you have. And by the expenses, I mean, they spend hundreds of millions developing Xbox and PlayStation, and they can't really sell them for that much money. £450. Look, a console that has taken a company 4 or 5 years to develop, right? That's, Apple's products are as expensive as they are. A, because Apple love making crazy, ridiculous profits. Of course, that's a reason. But it's also because they spend years developing those products. I mean, obviously, it gets a lot easier once they've designed a MacBook. They're pretty much banging the MacBooks out. But all the development to put their own silicone, Apple silicone, in those MacBooks, that would have taken years and a huge expense. And they're selling those things still at crazy profits, despite all that development cost, or at least they recoup the development costs, right? Because they sell them for minimum £1,000, £1,500, £2,000. MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs are £1,000. If Apple developed a gaming console tomorrow, I guarantee you, it's the reason they haven't done it, it would be £1,000 minimum. Apple would never sell anything like that for anything less than £1,000. They're not interested in doing that. They're making so much money in gaming without doing that. Why would they get involved? But Sony and Xbox they've seen this, they've identified it, and they're trying to make moves now to move in that direction. And when I say move in that direction, what I mean is they want to stop making consoles, because Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, has admitted publicly, all you got to do is Google it, that they lose money on selling Xboxes. Yeah, they lose money. It's not that they break even. Well, maybe the actual sale of the console, they break even. Maybe they make a tiny profit. But what he means is they're making nowhere near enough profit. They're not making the profit that they should in terms of really recouping their costs and making a profit on it, because of the amount of resource that goes into developing and manufacturing a product like that, which is a huge amount, right? Like, a huge amount of development goes into those kind of products. So that's what he means. Like, they're not making money on it. They're making a loss, and that'd be extremely frustrating for them, right? Because, like I say, they spend years developing it. There's a huge expense goes into developing that product, and then only just to make a loss, it would be driving them absolutely crazy. Even though they make huge amounts of money in gaming in general by selling the games and the subscription models for the Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and that's what they want to move into. They want to stop selling consoles. They want to stop having that massive expense, or the console becomes a very minimal thing, almost like a Switch or like a hub type thing, and it connects to your internet and you play through the internet. What they want to do, this is what Google tried to do with Stadia. Even though Google do what they always do when they screw something up, is they've just gone too extreme. It's going that far. They needed to release a console that was maybe something in between a Nintendo Switch and a full-on triple. It could still play triple, but it needed to play AAA titles, but it wasn't as powerful as an Xbox or a PlayStation, because it relied on having a high-speed Wi-Fi connection and you played online more. You didn't play necessarily on the unit itself. I think that's what Google were trying to achieve. AAA gaming via the internet. That's what they were trying to do. And it just didn't work. Like, as far as I know, I'm sure you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, please do. My understanding of Stadia was literally all you got, as well as like some other, like I think there was like a plug-in for your TV. I think there must have been, but like, or it was just done through an app even, but you just got like a controller. Like, that was it, right? As in, there was no kind of console or anything. And like, that's insane. That was never going to work. Online gaming is just not really at that place yet, unless you've got a specific setup, unless you've got the highest possible bandwidth internet, and you know, you've got an amazing setup for that. But even then, you know, hardcore gamers, they have the game, they have the hardware, they have the software, the whole game physically downloaded on their PC, on their Xbox, or they have the disc and they play it off that. And there might be some online elements, like when you play with your mates, obviously like Call of Duty, best example, you know, all your mates are in there, so you're heavily reliant on the internet to see all your friends and where they are and how the environment is changing. But so much of it is done on the game that has been downloaded onto that console. But this is hugely expensive. They're not selling these consoles anywhere near at the cost that they want. So along comes the PlayStation Portal. So this was like the main content of this video, which is the PlayStation Portal. What is it? Why is it? And kind of going a bit back to front, as in I've explained the rationale, the context of why I wanted to talk about the PlayStation Portal. Because initially, like a lot of people, I think they thought, what the hell is the point of a PlayStation Portal? It was so weird. I remember when it came out or it got announced, everyone in the tech industry was like, what the hell is the point of this thing? Why are Sony doing it? Well, my theory is that the reason Sony have put that out there is because they are just seeing what it would be like to have to do gaming via streaming. Gaming, so they're using the PlayStation at the moment, which makes total sense. You wouldn't do anything else. You would use your PlayStation as like this streaming kind of hub, right, where the games are already there, and then, you know, they brought out this product where people can then just like stream. It doesn't matter that it's like mobile or portable and like easy to carry around, and you can go in your loft, your attic, or your basement and play, or you can go up in your room and play in your, you know, your PlayStation's in your living room, but you can go play it in your room. They don't care about that. That's not the point of it. The point of it is, what they want to do, what Sony want to do is, instead of develop this massive gaming, well, maybe they develop another PlayStation that is full throttle, hardcore, big console with all the hardware, but the way they will market that is they sell it for maybe double. They want to sell it for at least double what they're selling it for now. As in, they're doing what Apple do, right? With the Pros, you know, iPad Pro. You know, the reason Apple brought those different tiers in and they started calling everything Pro versus the normal version was they make so much money doing that. So a lot of people buy the normal version that can't afford the Pro, and then they convince people that have a bit more money and love those products that they want the Pro version. And then obviously people that do it for a living and like Apple products will buy the Pro version. And then the more they make it a really good product for Pro users, they're going to keep buying that product. They won't go anywhere else if it's the best one. And they'll pay £1,000 for it, £2,000 for it quite happily. This is what they're trying to introduce, tiers. So what Sony want to do is have the highest end console, the super Mac Daddy beast console, even though that would just be what they would have released anyway if they didn't change their model. But they want to sell that, they want to market it so that it's the Pro version, and that is £800 to £1,000, even though in reality it's exactly what they would have released anyway if it was just the PlayStation 6 or the PlayStation 7. But what they want to introduce is a lower tier product, and it's not like just it's not like they're going to release a PlayStation Pro and then have the normal PlayStation. It will be like just a hub where you can download games on it, But all it will do is it will stream to your monitor. So maybe they'll have like a little dongle thing in the monitor or a little dongle thing in your telly, and then the hub will stream to your gaming monitor or your TV. But it will really just be like a streaming device, even though you can have games downloaded to it, but it's just like projecting to those devices, and it just becomes like this streaming monitor thing rather than the real horsepower game. And it will say you must have a Wi-Fi connection for this to even work at all, as in you can't play any games like offline, because all it really is a streaming device. It's just a streaming like hub device, like an Apple TV. I think would be the best example. Be an Apple TV, a massively beefed up Apple TV for games is what they want to release, and then they'll have the PlayStation Pro, the PlayStation, and then they'll have whatever the hell they call this, PlayStation Mini or something, and then they'll do what Apple have done for years now, which is this one gets beefed up and more expensive, PlayStation Pro. This is the one in the middle, and then but also everyone can buy this as well. And if loads of people say, because this will only be $200 or $300 or something, but the important thing is, like I said earlier in the video, where they make money is games, selling games and selling the subscriptions. That's what they want, and they want to do that. They want to give people access to that as cheaply as possible, and it's not through, and that the way they do that isn't through a big beefed up high spec very expensive components, years of development, massive console that then they can only sell for $450, and then even the middle one, which will be $300, they want this one that they sell for like $100, right? $100, everyone will be like, oh, PlayStation Mini, $100, amazing, and I can still play AAA games. Then no one buys this, so then they said, look, no one was buying it, so we phase this out, that's gone. And then the middle one, oh, sales of this aren't great, and then they'll dilute whatever the normal PlayStation is. Pro isn't a thing anymore, it's a normal PlayStation, and obviously Xbox are going to do the exact same thing. But then they have the normal console, the PlayStation, the Xbox, not the Pro version. Even that then eventually gets discontinued, and then all you have is this puck thing that is just like they crack the ability to play AAA games over the internet on this tiny little streaming device, just a conduit. And look, it's exactly what, and then maybe they don't even make that anymore, and you have to just like build a PC. And I wouldn't be surprised if, look, in less than 10 years we just have PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass, and you have to build your own PC or buy a gaming laptop. Or what I could really see happening is Sony and Xbox, because they do what Microsoft already make, a range of Surface laptops, which they're continuing to develop. That business is very much alive. Maybe Sony get back into the laptop business and they release, they start selling Sony, what they used to be called Vaio, the ranges of laptops. And, maybe but they're like really high-end gaming ones, gaming PCs. I could see Xbox, I could see Microsoft doing that. Couldn't see Sony doing it, but I could see Microsoft selling a competitor version, a laptop. So they have like the Surface, and then the highest end Surface now, and then there's a gaming. They bring out Surface Game or something like that. That's what I think they call it. Be like Surface Game, and it is a competitor to the best gaming laptops like Razer and stuff. And they take them on, and they say that Xbox Game Pass is like baked into it, and it works incredibly well on there, and it's really optimized for it, and it's just this like slick Xbox game. That to me, that's the roadmap to me of the gaming industry. That's where it's going to go. It's going to be online services, because that is where they make money, an online service. That's why physical games, discs, in a lot of cases are cheaper than the online marketplace, which I think is insane, right? Because it's a digital download of a game. How can it be more expensive? Surely it should be cheaper, but no. They can control that environment. They can control that price 100%. And they don't want sales. They don't want to give you anything cheaper. The only reason you can get physical games cheaper is because they sell them at bulk. So whatever So say a game is $60 or £60. Best Buy or Argos in the UK, let's say, will buy those games. They'll buy thousands of them, like 10,000 or something, 50,000, whatever they buy them for. Because they buy so many at one time, they get them at a discount. So they get them at like 30% less or something, let's just say. So they get this 30% discount. But if those games, like with any other product, if those games aren't shifting, then all they do, they've got to get rid of the stock. They can't just have that stock sitting around. If no one's buying it at £70, they do what any business does, and they discount it. So you go on PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass or the Xbox Game Store, the game will still be £70, even though you could walk into a Best Buy and see it for $20 less. And they don't want that. So they want to stop selling physical games. They want to stop disc drives in consoles. The only reason they haven't done it yet is because I know gamers would kick off for exactly the reason I just spelled out. And that's what they want. They want a digital. They want it so that you can't buy that game anywhere else, just in the Xbox store. Just in a digital environment, and then the price is locked. I think Xbox aren't bothered about having exclusives anymore. They might just allow all their games to go on PlayStation Plus and Steam and Xbox Game Pass, and they get all that revenue, but the stipulation will be you can never have a sale on it, and you can only, or at least for like a year or 2 years. If it's an Xbox game, especially if it's an exclusive, you have to sell it for $70, £70 for 2 years. You can't discount that product, or something like that. That's what I think will happen, and that is what I think the point of the PlayStation Portal is, which is why I haven't talked about the tech specs of it or what it actually does or the experience. I haven't tried it. I'm not gonna try it. I'm not bothered, because it's a pointless product in that this is just an experiment. Sony have done this for a reason. I say pointless. They've done it for a reason. They've spent, millions developing this device, but it's because they're experimenting on what the future of gaming for PlayStation could potentially be in terms of them making more money and reducing their costs. That is what PlayStation Portal is all about. That anyone out there who thinks it's because it's a precursor to a PlayStation Vita, like a new PlayStation Portable, like a PlayStation Switch, basically. It's not that. They haven't done it for that reason. Maybe some of the lessons they learned from the PlayStation Portal will go into a new one. I think they will bring out a new portable device because it just makes sense. Everyone, Xbox, it's what, there's been so many, right? Well, Legion have brought one out, Acer, Steam Deck. There's been, the Switch has been so successful and it's made so much money. Everyone is looking at that model now, that business model, and that with the gaming business model of the Switch, and just seeing how insanely successful it is, how people have this amazing experience on such a small device that's a bit cheaper, that's cheaper than the consoles. I say cheaper than the consoles, what? It's £100 or $100 cheaper than like a PlayStation, which you think you can't really have AAA games on there is incredible. But the reason you spend £450 or dollars on a PlayStation or an Xbox is because you want to play AAA games. But then so many people have paid £300 or dollars on a Switch, and you think that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And again, Sony and PlayStation, they're at the back of the conga line on this, right? They're the only ones that are spending all this money developing these massive consoles to satisfy people that want to play AAA games, and losing money on those consoles. Think about PC gamers. They must look at that whole market and be like really pissed off, because you can just have a Steam account. Grant, look, you've got to pay thousands of pounds to develop a PC, a gaming PC, right? Decent gaming PCs, £1,000, £2,000, or minimum if you really want to game well. Decent GPU, like really handle all the AAA games well to have a really good experience. But that, like, if you just do that purely for games, then fair enough. But obviously that PC can do millions of other things. You can edit videos, you can edit photography, you can use Photoshop and Lightroom on there. You can do endless things on that PC as well. So the value of money you're getting for, those thousands of pounds nets off a lot more. It might mean, you know, you don't have to buy, you know, a laptop. If you're not bothered about having a mobile option, then you've bought your gaming PC, but then all of your other computing needs taken care of as well. And all I mean is, guys, I've gone on a bit of a rant, fair enough, guilty as charged, but that's the future of gaming, and that's why the PlayStation Portal exists. I'm telling you, this is why they're doing it. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you've tried the PlayStation Portal, you know, let me know in the comments if you think it's any good. Let me know what you think the future of gaming is. Do you think I'm right? Have I joined the dots correctly there, or am I way off? Do you think something else is going to happen? But yeah, let me know in the comments, and let's continue the conversation. Thanks, guys. Hope you found that valuable or interesting, and see you in the next one. See ya. Bye.